Okay. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Queens of Poker with Sandy and Julie.
Hi, guys. We are two longtime, over 20-year tournament players and cash players. We love the game of poker, and the Queens of Poker is something we did to encourage more ladies to poker. This is our third episode, and we
Yay.
we want to we're going to talk about poker
Poker
downswings.
downswings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how to overcome the highs and lows. And we were very much inspired by Jessica Vierling's win that we covered last week. Go see that. I'll put the link somewhere. If you haven't, she absolutely crushed it. And then she's so awesome because she showed up late one of the days and she did an interview in poker.org about it, which we're going to talk about, which goes into the mental and the emotional aspects, which is something we've been talking about ourselves also, right, Sandy?
Yes, definitely. The highs and lows and how to handle your emotions and how to work on it. Definitely. It's a big part of the game.
I think we've all had those times where we know our emotions, our anger, whatever it is, has cost us a hand, if not a cash game, if not a whole tournament. So those are the things we're going to talk about. Not that we're experts, but I was telling Sandy I was feeling so frustrated, and I am very black and white still about many things. Poker is one of them, and I'm very much a perfectionist. So I look at time wasted for me versus working in my actual business, which I've been doing for longer than I play poker, like 27 years. And the way that Jessica's article, she talked about getting a coach who is Mike Wasserman because she read his article when she was looking for help with the emotional highs and lows. And she's got another situation, which I'll get to, but he wrote an article. I read both their articles, and they had me feeling way more inspired and looking at it with a different perception, which I think is what we need when we're caught in our own sort of emotional spiral or maybe just a bad attitude.
Why don't you give us an example that you've
Um,
had?
so that's a good idea. Well, a downswing definition is a prolonged period of losses or poor performance that deviates from a usual success rate. Like basically, you're losing money, and hearing like the amount of losses they have had, or like you said, Daniel Negreanu over what was it?
Yeah, in 2023, he said it was his worst year since he's been keeping track. He lost
Mhm.
$2.2 million in 2023 in losses.
Gosh. Yeah. I mean, that's relative to like a couple hundred or a couple thousand for us, but yeah, I don't, for me, I reading their articles, I don't think it's a money thing. I think it's another emotional issue for me. That it for me, poker is a sport. It's something that now that I have some expendable income, which I didn't all those years that I only played for free online when I was learning, or I played penny games, or I played home games for $20 with my friends or my husband's friends, actually. Um, it was entertainment. It was fun. It was taking my mind off my work because I will obsess on work and things that feel productive. So it really, I call it my brain sport and also my brain break. You have to focus so intensely, or at least I do, that I can't really think about other things or be multitasking. So for me, I have to think of it like I'm not on some big downswing. I'm just not getting the firsts, the seconds, the thirds that I think I'm not getting the firsts is really, right? I'm even getting,
Always.
I haven't had a first since 2018, which was the Hustler smaller tournament, but I've gotten seconds, thirds, and fourths that paid way more than that one first. So I think it's more about like my perfectionism and my wanting to be like up here when I'm not. I'm down here.
Mhm.
So I think you call that managing expectations, right?
True, it is managing expectations. I mean, I had my first win yesterday at my
Yay.
friend's private game. Yay, I felt so
Yeah.
good to finally come first. I've been
Awesome.
coming in, you know, like we always say, it is really difficult to make the final table. And the fact that we
Yeah.
make the final tables, or if you make a final table, anybody makes a final table,
Yeah.
congratulations, because the time it takes to get there is incredibly long, and you have to be very patient. So for me to finally get to first place, I was so thrilled. We were down to 4 players. We decided not to chop. Then we were down to 3 players. We decided not to chop, and then it was
You
heads
decided.
up. Yeah, we decided not to
Yeah.
chop. And it was heads up. And I told my, heads up partner, I said, do you want to look at the numbers? I said, we could chop now. Now we're heads up. It'll probably be even money.
Uh-huh.
And he said, well, no, let's just play it out. I said, okay. And we played it out for another 20 minutes, and I ended up, and he was chip leader. So
Oh, wow.
anything
You
can
came from
happen.
behind. Good for
I,
you.
when I made the final
Yay.
table, I had 5,000 and 5,000 tip. That's it. And I managed to
What did
bring
he
that up.
have? How much did he have?
He had at least over 100,000.
What? Oh
So
my
when I
God.
made
You
the when we were down to 10
5%.
players, I had nothing. I had nothing, barely. And I managed to
Wow. That's amazing.
slowly be patient and play and bring it back. So I'm
Wow.
really proud. I'm
That's
very proud.
amazing. How long was the heads up session? About.
Maybe 20 minutes.
That's
Maybe 20 minutes.
that's not bad. How many, especially with one chip, it sounds like you had. How many people were in that tournament?
It was like a small tournament, 20 players, but it was a full two
First is a
tables.
first. Yeah,
First is
that's
a
and
first.
those are tough players that probably play a lot. So
They're very tough
that's
players.
awesome. That's
Yeah, it was
amazing. Good.
great. Thank
I
you. Thank
I
you.
actually still saying I'm in a downswing, but I cashed Friday night at the Lucky Lady. I went out 18th. It was a 20K. I got 250. I bought in for 100. So I, of course, was angry. I left angry because it's like 8 hours of my time. And if I work, I make way more money than I could make even if I won the tournament. So that's just me being not rational and emotional, right? Like just so results oriented, and you can't be with poker. And then at the Gardens, I did their Memorial Day double stack, I think it was called deep stack on Thursday night. Those guys at the Gardens are absolute crushers. Like they play a hard game. There were not too many ladies, although I'm slowly seeing more. And I got I think I got 11th for 780, and first place was over 13,000 and a
Wow.
trophy. So I was so close, but I went completely card dead. My last 6 big blinds went in right before the break. Ace queen of hearts. I hadn't seen a hand for like over an hour and a half that I could actually shove, and everybody around me was waking up with these huge hands and taking out the short stacks. I was just trying to hang out, and the guy has jacks. The last guy left, I was also in right before I was in small blind, he was in big blind. So, and he said, he's like this young guy, probably in his 20s. He goes, "You're way too hard on yourself. There's nothing else you could do with that hand."
That's
that
cute.
that sort of me too. I'm like, because I got so upset. Like I probably looked like I was ready to cry or kill somebody. And then yeah, it's hard to shake that off sometimes though, when you look at the trophy and you're like, I'm so close. I'm so close.
When you're doing it for hours and hours, sometimes I would rather go out early than play those hours and get so
Yes,
close.
me
I feel
too.
like that's so much
Yeah,
more draining for us and so much
right,
mentally, physically,
right,
but also majorly mentally. I would rather go
right.
out early than go spend all those hours and not get anywhere. It's just more frustrating because I feel like, because you say we both have our own companies and I could make more money
Totally.
working
Right.
than sitting there. So I try to just justify it as that it was something that I wanted to do and it was fun, but it's hard.
Right.
It's hard to do that.
And it's up to us to adjust our mental framework
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
go, you know what, that's what I wanted to do. Good. Like poker is a zero sum game. For me to win, someone else has to lose and vice versa. We all going to have our turn in the cracker barrel, right? Like we
Absolutely.
like last yesterday the WPA fundraiser. It's not expensive. It's not about the money, but I played my heart out. Those women are crushers also, and it's online. And then I get down, I hung on and I hung on. I wasn't getting all the big hands like all these ladies were. I was just trying to outplay and outlast. And I got to eighth at the final table and go out with everybody's being aggressive. I'm waiting, king to ace king, the usual, right? Like, well, I got shoved by fives. She shoved with less. She had shoved me so many times and I kept folding. And then I should have taken the lady who took me out. I could have taken her out earlier with an ace. I forget what it was, but She had sevens, the other lady had eight, she had a seven, so she stacked up, but I would have beat both of them. I think it was a Broadway. And because it wasn't a pair, I folded it. And then she took me out. So it's like, one little choice can affect your whole tournament. And that was for entry to the ladies championship in Vegas WSOP. So $1,000. That was a nice, which I wasn't sure I'm gonna go, but I would have went if I won that. So maybe next year.
I do
That
want to add regarding the ladies tournament.
mhm.
I was told that South Point has a satellite the day before
Oh,
at their casino. I think it's $150 buy-in or $200 buy-in. It's a satellite to the ladies tournament. So if you guys are in Vegas or
that
want to
sounds
go to Vegas to play
awesome.
the ladies tournament, check out the South Point schedule and do the satellite. So you don't have to pay the $1,000 buy-in because they're doing
Is it
that. So that's
only
great.
one day before the
I think it's just
the
it's like a quick
buy?
1 day buy-in, yeah,
Okay,
before.
that's awesome. And Lips, which is the ladies in poker series, they have a whole summer camp thing. I did their winter camp. I will try to link you guys to that info, or you can go to the Lips and the Women's Poker Association sites. Also, the one that I did was $25. It's a donation. And then the first place, everybody at final table gets a raffle for something, but first place gets that ticket, and they've been doing them every month. So if you want to do that next year and you want to have some great support and camaraderie from other women, I'll
Yeah.
put the links to WPA and we'll talk later about the other places where you can find that. So if you ladies want that, $25 to win $1,000 ticket is pretty good. It was fun after work, and there's I think there was like 80 something people in it, if I remember correctly.
That's
So
great. That's
yeah.
really great. Yeah,
Uh,
sorry. I'm looking for that schedule for the ladies tournament.
Okay, so yeah, we can post that too if unless you
Okay.
see it. Do you see it? Okay.
I'm trying to get
So
there.
before we get on to emotional challenges, I just want to bring up like chop, how you feel about chop, because I feel very different and I'm trying to work on my attitude about chopping.
Well, why don't you tell us your
Well, tell
attitude
us, why
about
don't
it?
you say what chop is? Just describe chop
Chop
first for anyone who
means
doesn't
when
know.
you're in the money and you're in the final table. Depends on the table. It could be 9 players, it could be 3 players. It's you're getting at that point that you've been playing for hours and you just don't want to play anymore. You just want to chop the money. And there's different ways you can chop the money. You can chop the money. Casinos do it professionally. They do it by the amount of chips everybody has and
It's
who's
called
first, second, third.
ICM. Yeah, they have
ICM.
a special app calculator that you get money per chip.
And yes, and actually I did that on Saturday when I played a different game. I put it in my phone and I found you can find it anywhere
Yes.
online.
Yes.
And it's like you just want to finish the game. Nobody's really first. You just chop the money. And
Well,
you go
that's
you
not
go home.
always. When I've done it, it hasn't been because nobody's first. It's because at Lucky Lady, where I so often go, the tournaments are set up so that after the second break or maybe the third, the blinds literally double and they
Oh,
skip some
crazy.
levels.
Yes.
Ty and Derek talk about this on their LA Poker Roundup last night's episode. They know more specifically. I just know it by the time you get to the final table, you could literally have I have photos of a mound of chips in front of me, and it's still not very many big blinds. Maybe we're lucky if we each have 20 and most
Yeah.
people don't. So in that case, what's going to happen is the very shortest stacks are going to go out with nothing. And now it's like 2 in the morning. When we start making the cash, it's usually maybe 12:30 to 1 a.m. is the earliest on the bigger tournaments that have like 200 people. So, and what I found out is when we do ICM, I'm just trying to last longer rather than double up or take someone out, because that's bingo, first of all. If I'm
True.
running good, then I might do it. But other than that, like I always wind up getting more money when I chop than if I hadn't have chopped. So those are the things I consider. But there are people who I don't know if that's their ego. I heard Ty say that he and his friends just never chop, but that's not true because I have been at a final table and chopped with him. Um, but so I
I
don't
have two
know.
actually. I
Oh,
have two
you have?
actually.
Oh,
I've
and
got the
he chopped?
commerce.
Did he
Yeah,
chop?
he chopped. Yeah.
Well, why do you not want to chop?
Oh, I do want to chop. I will
Okay.
if the only time I don't like to chop is if I'm in if I'm playing with someone that's I don't like. And they've been rude or they've been a problem throughout it. And
Personal vendetta. Okay.
it's not even that, it's just
Yeah.
sometimes I feel like
Yeah.
bad karma, like the
Yeah.
karma that they put out. And
Yeah.
I'll say, they'll, they don't want to chop or something. And then I'll say, let's chop. They'll look at the money. They don't want to look at the money. Then we get to the point where the chip count has changed, where it's
Hmm.
flipped on that person or the people.
Yeah.
And then
Then
now
you
they
say
want to
no.
chop
Yeah.
and then they
No,
want
I
to
see
chop.
that.
No,
Yeah.
thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't mind chopping.
I'm not gonna lie, I've gotten really frustrated with people, but it's never when I'm the short stack. I bring it up when I'm the bigger stack or at least mid to high, because I feel for the people who, especially the women who have been grinding for um so long. Like at Gardens, there was myself and two other ladies, and two of us had, one lady had a huge stack, I had a good size stack, so I wound up getting third, I think, and she was probably in first or second, and the other lady was barely hanging on. And I like her. I know her. There was another kid that I know that I like. They were both not winning a lot. So at least the kid, the two younger guys weren't. And I was like, let's just chop and give them something, right?
Yeah.
I wasn't even tired because those don't go as late. I think it
Or
was
that's
like
the bubble, the bubbling,
10:30.
people that don't like to
Oh
bubble.
yeah,
That's really
that too. When
frustrating.
they, that's
Yeah.
what it, sorry, when they won't pay the bubble, that bugs the crap out of me. That happened Lucky Lady the other night. Someone won't pay the bubble. Come on, dude. First of all, it's not likely you're getting first or second, so it's not coming out of your money. Second of all, are you that cheap? There was this guy, I forget his name. I probably shouldn't even say it, but he final tabled with me at Gardens, and then he was going to final table that when I went out 18th at Lucky Lady, and he's been on a huge running streak, and I think his name is Lee. He was bragging that he never pays the bubble and he won't pay the bubble. And I was like, are you poor? Are you selfish? Like, why? And he just, I don't like to. That pisses me off.
Yeah. I
That, and
just
I'm
find
like,
it
all right.
really,
And then
I,
like they're running Lucky too. Be
yeah.
generous, right? Put it out. Yeah. And
Yeah. Put it onto
yeah.
the universe when you're greedy or it's
Yeah.
just bad poker etiquette.
There
It's
was a guy too who was newer from out of town somewhere, and he was running so lucky, just hitting everything, taking people out. He was playing pretty well, but he's like, I'm not chopping. I never chop. I don't pay the bubble. It's like, dude, you're new here. Welcome, but like, be cool. But I guess maybe it's their prerogative. It's their right if they want to have experience playing down to
no,
maybe heads up.
I understand that, but usually people that have that type of attitude or energy, they get knocked out. It's
I
pretty
love when
rare
that,
that they
I love
stand.
it. It did
Yeah.
happen at Gardens. The lady who wouldn't chop got knocked out earlier, and I made more money, and the other guy made first place, obviously first, second. I think I got third. And
Mhm.
then I don't know at Lucky Lady because I left and went to play cash, but I took my 18th and left. But yeah, I was a little salty, and those are the people I'm gonna go after for sure, way harder than I do usually. And maybe
Yeah.
that'll cost me, maybe it won't, but yeah. So I just wanted to bring up chopping because we talked about it and say what it is. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about chopping, and I'm going to work on being more open-minded about it because people have their opinions. Let them do what they want to do, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can do it's your money, it's your
Right.
game.
Right.
And if you just maybe don't feel like at that moment wanting to do something like that, you don't have to do it, but just be
Right.
nice about it.
Right.
Don't be a dick about it.
Right. Totally.
That's all we're asking. Just
And
don't be mean about it. It's unnecessary. I will always bubble. I don't care what position I'm in. And with chips,
not always, but yeah, it happens often when you're good, when you're
no,
a
no,
good
I'm
player.
saying,
Oh,
I will always will bubble, like pay the
oh,
bubble.
pay the bubble. Okay.
Pay
I
the
thought you said
bubble.
be the
No,
bubble.
not
I'm
bubble.
like,
No, no, no. I
me
meant pay the
too.
bubble. Excuse
Me
me.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm never at that point of not wanting to help somebody out who's grinded it that
Right. Me
far.
too.
If
That's how,
you're
yeah.
that close to
Yeah.
it, be nice to that person. They
Right.
deserve something.
Right.
Just give them their money back or a little bit more than
Totally.
what
So
they
they
put
don't
in
leave feeling like dog poop. That's what
after playing for 8 hours.
I
Correct.
also like. It's not my job to worry about everyone's feelings, but I won't be the person that says no. I just won't.
Yeah,
I
I've
just
never
think it's
said
mean.
no.
I think it's not good sportsmanship.
It's bad
right?
poker etiquette,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
deflating for that
Right.
person, because
Right.
we've all been there. And I
Right.
think people that don't do that, maybe they're new and they've never had that experience of playing for that long
Yeah.
in a day, and they've never bubbled, so they don't know how heartbreaking it can be. It's
Yeah.
just the worst, one of the worst feelings of playing.
That's
If I
maybe
played for
true.
that long and then it's just exhausting. So to
Yeah.
be able to help someone bubble and
Right.
get paid on it, I'm
It
for
can
it
make
hundred
their
percent.
it might bring them back to poker more. You never
Yeah, they'll
know
come
because they're
back.
not like, oh, I suck, I never cash,
Correct.
right? For a little
Yeah.
bit of money. And yeah, that's like, I agree. Okay. So we talked about Negrano's tough year. So I'm going to go back to Jessica Vierling and I'm going to share this amazing article. And where is it? This is the one. I'll do share screen if I can do it correctly. I think I have to go. Sorry, guys. Not a genius. I'm trying to
Just
find
make sure
this.
your
There it is.
background is clear. Okay, good.
Is it clear?
Yeah,
Okay, so
you're
you
good.
don't have to see my Sedona pictures again, although they are magnificent. I love Sedona. Okay,
Yes, it's
so this
beautiful.
is Jessica, and it turns out that is her therapy dog, which I knew because I saw her in the bathroom and we briefly
Mm,
spoke. And so the article basically is about her passion for the game, poker mentors, life-changing books, and how she handles life's mental and physical pressures in a game that can twist stifling knots into both. Exactly what we're talking about and what we've been talking about. We did notice that she showed up late the day 2 where she had this huge dominating mountain of chips, right?
mhm.
I can see myself doing that. I mean, anxiety on the few day 2s I've made have been it gets to be crippling, but then she reveals that she has borderline personality disorder. She's been diagnosed with it. She's now left her high level job at Amazon and taken a chance at being a poker pro and then feeling like not only is she not winning, but I mean, I know a little about borderline personality because I worked in psych my first 5 years in practice in a mental health hospital, mainly with children. But also my mother has that diagnosis since I was a little kid. And so I do have some experience with that. And it is a very hard thing to manage for the person that has it and the people around them. The best I can say, and she explains it in the article, is there's no boundaries between like feelings and you just get like consumed by your feelings. And I have a hard enough time. I don't have that diagnosis. I have a hard enough time not going on winner's tilt or loser's tilt or beating myself up or all the things, the anxiety and results oriented that I can't imagine what it was be like on that level for her. She talks about reading an article by a poker player named Mike Wasserman, who I was not familiar with, but he looks familiar. I know he was at Commerce recently, and he has 2 great articles that she read that got her to get some help for the downswing and the emotional repercussions. And so I will link those to the notes, the show notes. I encourage you guys to read them. They're both excellent reads. They both really helped me turn around what isn't even a downswing for me. I don't think it's my expectation. So this is amazing. And can you see the article or no, Sandy?
I can see it, yes.
Okay, he also, she talks about Andrew Brokus, insightful books, Play Optimal Poker 1 and 2. And she says, I learned about range morphology as an approach, how do ranges change and fluctuate, which I am also looking into because you know I'm big on the books and the learning and my support, study groups and all that stuff. And then she talks about that feeling that she knew very little and that she was, this is my favorite part, um, I was a very intuitive player and she did online like I did for years first. So this switch is very hard because I am an emotional sponge and I soak up people's energy if I'm not careful. I needed, she said, I was a very intuitive player at the beginning of my poker journey. When I started studying more, that intellectual approach kind of interfered with my instincts. And then she talks about how to find the balance between that's exactly what happened to me. I started learning like GTO and that stuff, and I lost my confidence and I wasn't listening to my intuition.
You have
anymore.
to go with your intuition. A lot of poker is intuition. I know it's about numbers and variance, but it's also about your
And
confidence
math.
in your and the math, but it's
Yeah.
also your confidence in what you're playing and how you're playing. And you can't always go to the other part of it. You have to keep your intuition.
You mean the technical stuff?
No, your
Hmm.
intuition, like your gut feeling. You have to have your gut feeling. I think that's really important.
How
If
much
you
of that
feel,
is gut feeling and how much is like winner's tilt, which by the way is when you start hitting hands and you win and you just assume that you will be that lucky again, or how much is the opposite, like I'm folding this because it never hits, or
I can give an example. When I played
please.
Saturday at the game in Chatsworth, I started pretty good early on. I had some good hands. Then for a couple hours, I was kind of dead. I had nothing. So I just threw everything away, threw everything away. But then all of a sudden I started getting my cards and hitting the board, hitting the flop. I said to myself, I know I'm going to go deep because I was hitting everything. It's just sometimes luck. And if you have that intuition that if it's happening and it keeps going, then you go with it. And then if you start going card dead again, then just don't do anything. So I felt I just always know if I'm going to go deep. I just always have a feeling. It's not wanting to go deep because every time I go play, when I
Huh.
on my way driving down somewhere to go play, I'm like, I'm gonna win today. Today's gonna be a good day. I know I'm gonna be in the final table. And sometimes it just doesn't happen. Sometimes it's just the luck of the cards. But there are times when I'm there in the moment that I just have this feeling that it's gonna happen. And that's where the intuition comes to play.
That's amazing. I don't think I have that yet, that it's going to happen. I always try to be positive it's going to happen and like expecting it, because I feel like you put that energy out there and it's more likely, like abundance with my business. I always know that there is a source. I'm not it. What I'm doing, yeah, it can't be results oriented, but yeah, I'm not there yet with poker, but I hopefully will get there. Like even when I have one, I'm not positive that I'm gonna be first or anything like that. That's cool that you are.
Yeah, I'm hyper competitive. It has a lot to do with it. And there's two things that I'm
Yeah,
really positive in: my business and poker. Everything else, I'm pretty much a pessimist.
you
But
are.
when it comes to poker, I'm
Yeah,
honest. Everyone who knows me knows it. That's just who I am. It's fine. But
yeah,
poker in my business is complete positivity.
good, good.
Yeah.
Except Ace King.
Except ace king. But you know what? It's been good to me the last couple days, the last week or so. It's been good to me. I'm gonna give it props. I'm not gonna say anything bad about it.
Good, good. I'm glad. I was hoping you would turn that around. I need
Yes, thank
to
you.
also.
Yeah.
So, Jessica says she was researching handling the downswing. She found Mike Wasserman's article, and she says he's one of the best coaches and humble, and that was the turning point for her, was getting that coaching from him and reading that article. I feel like it really gave me some insight where I was able to change a perception also about
Right.
she says the things about borderline personality, fear of abandonment, a volatile self-image, and a lot of fighting and feeling very self-destructive. I would play an online session, and when a few hands didn't go well, I'd sob and shake in front of the laptop. Now, I mean, I don't do that, but I get so negative on myself and beat myself up, telling myself, you know what, you're wasting time. Don't play this stupid game. Do your work. You have a book you're writing. You have clients that need you. But no, I've worked my entire life. I'm in my 50s. I'm going to play poker if I want to play poker. I love the game. I've always loved the game. And I'm going to be nice to myself. Right. And that's something she's woken me up to. Confidence, and Mike's article too. Look at what I've done with my life. Like I literally fix people all day. I help people with their nutrition issues and their health issues. And before that, I worked in child psych. So I think I have, like, it's hard to separate the like degenerate gambler image from actual poker as a sport too.
Right.
So I think that's maybe what I'm dealing with. And we have some ideas down further for like
You
how
should
some
be,
ways to deal with it.
yeah, you should be really proud of yourself. I'm really proud of you. What you've
Thank
accomplished is amazing with everything that is going on in the world. And I think it's fantastic. So
Thank
I
you.
props to any ladies who have their own companies and work hard,
Yes.
and just, or any ladies who want to do whatever they want with their lives, do it. You can do
Yes.
it.
Go ladies. Maybe that'll be
Yes.
another topic is how do your friends, families, your relationship feel about you playing poker? My husband, he's the one who started playing poker and started me on it, but then he was not too happy when my daughter moved out and he's like, my wife's at the casino every night. For good reasons and not so good reasons. Like it wasn't what he had hoped
I think
for.
people think that they have this perception that you're at the casino, you're sitting at a table, and you're smoking a cigarette and drinking
Yeah.
alcohol,
Yeah.
and you're doing
Slot
all these,
machines.
yeah, slot machines, and doing all these like degenerate things. But really, to me, you and I, poker is a sport.
Yep.
I'm not a gambler. For me, it's a competition. A tournament is a competition.
Totally.
It has nothing to do with gambling to me. It's about knocking the other people out so I can be first. That's what
Right.
it's about. And, the money is great. It's always, welcomed. Please, thank you. But it's a competition and I want to win.
Right.
Gamblers, if you
Yeah.
play cash or you play table games or whatever other you do, that's gambling because you're literally
Yep.
playing,
I
putting
agree.
money out and giving it to the house. We're playing against each other. That's the
Right.
difference.
I'm reading Anna Konakova's book, trying to The Biggest Bluff, and she talks about it. She's from a psychological background, and she talks about like that we in poker are less guessing than investment bankers and people who do the stock market for a
Yeah.
living are. Like there's less variance, and she did studies on it. So I'm just getting into it, but the way people perceive it is sometimes hard for me to get past as a woman. And I wish I had allowed myself to really play earlier in my life, but I wasn't there. But I'm happy. I'm proud of you, by the way, too. we
Thank
both
you.
we both take care of ourselves. We have our own businesses, and that's not easy here in LA. We
Not at
both,
all.
yeah, it's just not easy. You can easily become a small fish in a huge pond where we live. So I think that deserves a lot of kudos. And I think it's interesting that over the years we would see each other and just sort of connect, and that it worked well for us to do this podcast
Yeah, I'm
together.
very excited. Very excited.
Me
On the right
too.
team for sure.
Um, so Jessica also said that she decided to suit up and show up because she didn't want to let her support system down, which I think is the best reason. That's how 12-step programs work for people coming off alcohol and drugs and anything. You could use it for food addiction.
Yeah.
Basically, you get some sort of calm and high and spiritual connection from helping somebody else. Showing up for somebody else so they don't drink gets you to show up, and eventually you can show up without drinking or doing whatever your thing is. I mean, it's not exactly the same, but it's a similar principle. And then she said yeah, she didn't want to let people down, that she was overwhelmed by the anxiety. She didn't sleep for the 3 days. I could feel the energy in there was so it was good energy, it was fun energy, but I was exhausted every day that I played there because it was just completely buzzing. And like
Mhm.
I said, I don't have a great shield. I have to stop, meditate, put my force field around, let in the good energy, and let the bad or crazy energy bounce off of me because I will soak it up like a sponge.
Yeah,
Um,
because it's loud, it's chaotic, there's hundreds of people, the sound of people playing with their chips, everything is just,
yeah, and
it's so
screaming,
chaotic,
and
screaming,
yeah, there were
yelling.
people dressed up in costumes. There was some crazy stuff. A lot of the
Yeah.
famous poker players were there, and the paparazzi, the poker or like all that stuff. I had a media pass, so I was trying to play and focus on getting photos. Oh, which by the way, I put up a video in the shorts, you guys, of my table, one of my milestone tables after I busted the seniors, which I also went deep in but didn't cash. It's Alexandra Botez, who is another brain sport crusher. She is a YouTuber who plays chess and is, I guess, one of the best chess players. And she's now a Poker Go or GG Poker. She's one of the big companies. I saw it on her jacket, and she was at my table. We had a couple ladies, I think 4 of us. And she goes in, she waits. We all were waiting. She goes in with a decent stack with kings, and this guy, Poker Blaze from, I guess he's a freelance for poker.org. he calls with ace jack and hits a boat. Not just, it's like overkill, right? It's like my kings with
Yes,
it. I was thinking of that, but
yes.
it's a good little short, and she's a great example of that poker. She's good. I mean, from what I saw, she's good. I'm sure she has great coaches and she's serious about it. She's only been playing, I think, a couple years maybe, so she's going to seriously crush in a couple more years, like, because she already has the discipline and the resources from chess, right?
Yeah, chess players are actually really good poker players. So there,
And
it's all
I think,
about the thinking steps ahead,
right,
steps ahead,
strategy, and that's what I love
strategy.
about poker.
Yeah,
So Jennifer said, Jessica,
Jessica.
sorry. So she said, I wasn't sure how well I could play without sleep, but I was willing to try to not let her friends down. He said, the guy who wrote this, I think I said his name earlier, said, I saw you on stream, gather yourself and take a few deep breaths as you sat down. I saw that too on the video. She said that helped. I was very nervous, but after I was dealt my first hand, I wasn't nervous anymore. I forgot about the lights and cameras and just played my game. I love that. I love that. And then she talks about her meditation, 5 minutes a day, watching her posture, sitting up straighter. She says chip shuffling helps her ground into the game and calms her mind. I try not to do that. I'm not even sure why, because they're dirty maybe, but I spin a little chip thing, magnet that's heavy. It does help me to do something with my hands, or else I feel
Mhm.
like they're going to go somewhere weird. Do you have any of those
I
strategies?
do. I usually have my card protector, which is heavy, and I flip it and I spin it. Because I
Okay.
feel like the chips are disgusting, first of all.
Hmm.
And then I do it a little bit, depends on where I'm at. Maybe if I'm tired, I'll do a little bit of chip shuffling, but the sound drives me nuts, so I try to avoid
Me
it.
too.
But for yeah, it's just we all have our own thing that we do. I don't really get nervous when I'm playing. I'm so in the zone. Maybe I get nervous if I get a really good hand too early because I don't want to do anything drastic, but or it's not even nervousness, it's excitement. But yeah, I just try to, I don't know, or I'm on my phone or I'm looking at stuff. That's a good way of avoiding using the chips when you're, waiting for a
I
hand.
try not to go on my phone unless it's to take a note about a player or how somebody plays or something I notice, a mistake that I can run later in hand histories with a coach or a support group. I'm trying to stay off my phone because if I start scrolling or I lose my focus. And ladies, we need to be watching what everybody's doing and gaining information, right?
Yeah,
It's hard when you're there 5, 6, 7, 10 hours. It's
yeah.
hard, but I think at the final tables, they don't even let you have a phone, right?
No, I
At
don't do it
the
at the
higher
final
stuff.
tables. No, because they don't
Yeah,
want you to cheat. You can't have
right.
headphones on at the final tables or your
Oh,
phone.
I didn't know that. Oh, you can't
Yeah.
even listen to music.
No,
Okay.
because they don't want you to cheat.
Oh, I've had my AirPods in at Lucky Lady and Hustler. I think that was okay, but
But
there's
not
smaller
at the World
tournaments, yeah.
Series. Yeah, at
Okay,
the big
yeah, at the
games.
WPT and the World Series,
Yeah, they
probably.
don't do
I
it.
haven't been there yet.
What else I was
Let's
gonna say? Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna go to the some of the practical tips of poker downswings. I don't know a lot about bankroll management or game selection, but I do have a document that we put together. If you guys want it, put it in the comments and I will get you the link to the document of the typical causes and the typical just ways to mitigate those. But if you have any, my thing would be more to play lower levels if you really are never winning. Like play, if you're playing a night tournament, play the day tournament. Like Lucky Lady has day tournaments with sometimes 20, 40 people. A lot easier to beat than a 200 something nighttime
Yeah,
tournament.
also if your energy is tired,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not a night
Mm-hmm.
person, or if you've worked 10 hours at your regular job, it's really hard to go do a 7 p.m. tournament and be
Right.
there physically, emotionally, and mentally 100%. So I love morning tournaments on weekends
Me
because I'm
too.
fresh, I'm awake,
10 or
I've had my cup
11.
of
Yeah.
coffee.
Yeah.
I'm down for those. Those are my favorites.
That's a great, the time, you guys, the time you play. The weird thing is I cash a lot of the Friday nights at Lucky Lady, but then I'm wrecked, like
Mm.
getting home that late. So I have been trying to, it's hard because I like the people there. I like the energy at that Friday night tournament, but at least on
Yeah.
Saturdays, they start at 3. They did say Friday they're gonna be pushing earlier to 5 or 6 soon,
Oh,
so that would be
wow.
nice, yeah. And Sunday is a 1 p.m., so you can final table that and be out of there before 11 because
Yeah,
it's
and
a
when you
work night.
do, yeah, of course. And when you do the night ones, I always have, there's a thing called the poker hangover. It feels like you partied all night or drank all night and
Oh,
you just,
yeah.
you're so exhausted. You haven't done
Yeah.
anything like that.
Right, right. The clicking noise, just all of it, all the
All of
different
it. Yeah.
chatter, the intense focus. I have to take days off where I'm not doing poker. I'm at my pool, or I'm walking, or I'm sitting at a park or the ocean. I go to the beach a lot. I skateboard. I have to like change from that
Yeah.
intense focus to other stuff, right? I know you walk and do stuff also,
Yeah, I
right?
walk, I,
Yeah,
you know,
I go to the
go do
gym.
things with my friends. I don't play poker every day. There's times where I just don't
Oh,
want to think about it.
yeah.
There's days that I'm just ready to just do something else, you know, do something that's not poker, because you can't constantly think about it. It's very,
No,
can
I
be very
play
draining and taxing. So you have to
one
do
or
other
two
things.
times a week usually.
Yeah.
So mindfulness, meditation, they both talk about that in their articles. Something to ground yourself, and that I can do at the table when I feel myself going on tilt, I catch myself and or losing focus. I try to get back in my body and connected to my instinct and sort of filtering out all the noise, whatever I'm the chatter, the brain
Yeah.
chatter.
If I've had a bad hand or a bad beat and I'm still in it, I don't want to give any information away to anybody because that I'm upset. I do a lot of deep breathing quietly
Hmm. Yeah.
to, and not, I just don't want to give anybody any ammunition that I'm tilted,
Good.
for
I
sure.
mean, most people can
It's
tell
hard.
when I
It's
am,
very
but I'm
hard.
gonna try I try not to show it too. Recognizing and addressing the emotional triggers. We talked about sometimes alcohol can make that worse. You don't want to get too drunk if you're serious about your game. If you're just there to chill, have some drinks and play poker, that's fine. I don't drink anyway, and I don't think Sandy just doesn't drink
I
because she's
don't.
serious about poker.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm not the person who would have one drink either. I'm the person who would just be focused on the drinking. So it's not an option for me.
I just wouldn't pay attention. I would be happy and wanting to socialize and because I'm a social, if I drink, I'm a
Yeah,
social drinker. So I would not,
not
it would be
me.
awful for me.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, no, would not be good for me. The last time I drank, I was 19 and I got naked in a restaurant. So not a good idea for me. It was tequila and tequila is damaging, but
Yes, it is.
I've never had tequila since. Yeah, I think my sister and I were fighting the the bouncer. Yeah, we were literally trying to fight the bouncer. I'm like, why are
I,
you kicking me out? This is ridiculous. It wasn't completely naked, but my top was off.
right. You're like, but I'm 19. And like, if you're
Yeah,
gonna do something like that, at least it was 19
yeah,
and now
that's
you're,
when you
and it's
exactly.
pre-social media, which is even better.
I know. Gosh, am I lucky? The stuff I did. Oh my God. Yeah, I'm grateful that I stopped drinking before I wasn't even old enough to buy a legal drink
Yeah.
when I stopped drinking.
I
I ain't
think
gonna
we're the
start now.
last, yeah, we're the last generation that didn't have cell phones growing up, didn't have internet. So it's pretty interesting. Everyone after Gen
Yeah,
X is now has
I
had
think you're
internet
right.
and yeah, it's
I think
great.
you're right.
Everything I did,
Yeah.
no one knows about because there's no
Yeah.
photos.
Oh, there's still living people that I went to high school with and have known even before high school. They know, but they're proud of me for not being
Yeah, but
so
there's no proof. There's
crazy
no
now.
photos. If there's
There's
no,
a
I
few,
always say if
yeah,
there's no photos, there's no
there's a
proof.
few photos, but no video, thankfully.
Yeah, thank goodness, for
Yeah.
sure.
So healthy lifestyle habits, like you mentioned, the sleep, exercise, we already mentioned, nutrition.
Yeah.
Important to me. I've been working on an article about casinos. Do they have healthy food? Can they support us being healthy? And they're changing as I've been writing it. I have a lot of things going, so I have it on the back burner for like maybe 2 years now, but kudos to you guys who are upping the nutritional value. I'm actually a nutritionist. That's what I do in my business. So I work with poker players. I specialize in lab testing, so I lab test. We see what they're deficient in. Often things like zinc and antioxidants. Vitamin A helps a lot, believe it or not, with cognition. I use supplements like L-theanine and ginkgo, and we'll do another one on the nutrition, but it's important that you're eating protein
Mhm.
and healthy fats versus unhealthy fats. And get some vegetables in, right? Like Lucky Lady does great because I can get fish or steak or
Mhm.
chicken when they're not having issues. And then
Yeah.
I order double vegetables most of the time, and they're actually pretty good. So, if you guys want more on that, let us know. We're just still picking
Yeah.
episodes, but eat a good meal before you come to the casino, especially if it's one like Gardens where that one's hard. I'm going to be honest, I have blood sugar issues, so I bring my own food and I go out
Yeah,
in the
that's the
car.
worst.
I don't like it getting hot in the car, so I'll probably get a cooler, but I can't be playing a tournament for 8 to 12 hours and not have like their choices are candy bars, hot dogs, and a chicken sandwich that is not edible in my opinion. So, they do have a restaurant, but there's no way to get to that restaurant, order your food. I asked, could I call? They look at me blank. So that was hard because being too hungry is not what you want to do at a poker
And
table.
yeah, and they're one of the only ones that don't let you eat at the tables anymore. So when you're at a tournament, so you can't actually order food
Right.
and have it come and then eat it at break. Like you
Right.
don't have that opportunity to order ahead of time. You have to order at break. And it's an
And
awful, the
then
whole
when
thing
you
is
get
awful.
it, I did that too. I went and actually got a sandwich. They have a little thing on the corner, but he's closed Sundays, he's closed holidays. And it's a long line for anything, even the snack stand to get a water. They need more staff. I know it's hard to keep staff, but it's just, it could make or break a tournament. And it's very frustrating to
Yeah.
not be able to get even a water, whatever, coffee, whatever. So I got a sandwich. They were very nice about, they're like, you can't eat that. I literally was like this, looking at my hand, taking a bite when it wasn't my turn. I had to get some food in me. Like it had been so many hours and I put I said, "I'll put it here," and I put the bag on the floor. They came and brought me a table, you know, those ones that you can stand up with, which is very nice, but it just frazzles me. Like it is very hard to. And I think it's because they don't want the tables dirty and
Thank goodness.
it slows down the game, but I think what we're doing slows it down more. And I think it's a big deal. And the tables are filthy though. Like they're not clean anyway.
I
So
know.
I mean, I
It's a
feel like
casino.
I really like Gardens. I love their tournaments. I love the structure. I love Kevin. I love the way he puts on the tournaments and puts the red ropes up and makes it so exciting. And the rules are stuck to. And I really love it, but I feel like cleanliness is not their big issue there.
Right. Oh, I want to give a shout out to Johnny, tournament director at the
Oh,
Hollywood Park. He has gone to Vegas. He drove yesterday or the night before to
oh,
go to
WSOP.
the employee
Oh,
World Series game. So hopefully he did well. I haven't
is
spoken
that
to him.
today?
It was yesterday. I think it's a 3-day tournament. So
Oh, wow.
fingers crossed
Okay.
he does well.
So we're
So
all vibing for you, Johnny. I hope you go deep or win it. Yeah, we love John. He's awesome.
yeah, he's
Which
great.
and HP, not the best food either. Nothing. If you guys know of healthy stuff, please let me know in the comments because I just don't even know what to buy. And I'm a nutritionist, so they do have some salads and stuff. We'll do another one, but no bagging on gardens. We'll do another one where we talk about the casinos, and
Yeah,
that'll be next week. We're going to talk about casinos and the Raise It Up program with Christina Black from the Women's Poker Association. And then I'm still trying to get a date from Lena Evans from Poker League of
nations.
Nations. Yeah. I always get messed up because I feel like there should be a woman in there, but it's not. But it is
Yeah.
a woman's mainly. But you know what? I think they do have some men or something. So we'll hear from her. Um, so that brings me to the last one that I have is there's a couple. Uh Actually developing a support system. I think that's the most important, right? Whether you have family and friends who are at least understanding, even if they don't get it and they think you're a
Mhm.
degenerate gambler, they support it's your thing. You have I have study groups of women that I adore that I haven't even been with that long, but I feel like they're like they're just awesome. And it's so nice to have like you as my poker friend now because I'm like, I went out eighth. I was so close. Nobody else gets it. They don't get it if they don't
No,
play
very
poker,
true.
right?
Yeah.
Right. So I will
It's
put the
hard to, I'm sorry to interrupt. It's
no,
hard
it's okay.
to, when you have played for that day and you want to talk to somebody about it that understands. So it's great to have that back and forth and be able to share your emotions and your experiences of what's happening.
Yeah, I love that. And so the one of the groups that I'm studying with now, they have study groups every weekday. Like they're looking at solvers and videos and they're just discussing it, which I can't always do it because of my work and other commitments that I have at that time. But whenever I can jump in, I've learned something. Like it's been very cool. And they have league games and I do coaching where you can get your hand histories and go through it and get advice from the coaches and the other players.
That's
I
great.
find that all very helpful for me because I've read all the books and I've played for a long time, but I still feel like I don't have all the answers. And I like having someone else too. Like I ask you sometimes too, what would you do here? You folding that? You folding those kings? No, no way.
I
Right?
know, I feel like we never know all the answers. You're still learning every time. I'm always learning. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Poker is oh, so there's Lena Evans. Speaking of her, when we have her on, we'll send you to her TED talk. I think it's called The Poker Brain.
Mm.
Poker keeps our brains young. I'm sorry. Doyle Brunson said it. I heard him say it once that it keeps us from being lazy in our brains. And I think it really does. I'm
Mhm.
hoping that it does because those dementia, Alzheimer's run in my family on my dad's side. So I definitely need a busy brain too, or I'll get into
Yeah,
trouble.
I do
Right.
crosswords. I do Wordle every morning. I love puzzle. I think people that play poker, we like things that are fun and we are competitive and we just want to do things. So puzzles, I'm great. I used to love playing chess when I was younger, checkers, backgammon, any kind of like game. It's fun. But it
Yeah.
does it keeps you
Yeah.
stimulated. It keeps your brain stimulated
For sure. And
instead of
if you,
sitting in front of a TV and watching something all day.
yes, for sure. I don't watch TV.
Yeah.
If you guys are um is there anything else you want to cover before I recap?
No, I think this
Okay.
is good this week.
Yeah.
Really
Yeah.
good episode.
I think so. I want to thank Jessica Vierling for being so honest and sharing. She's helped me personally. Thank you, Jessica. If you ever see this, you probably won't, but maybe you will. Be positive, right?
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
and Mike Wasserman for helping Jessica so we could hear it, and I will put the links to those. Thank you to the ladies' organizations at WPA, the Pocket Queens, Plon, who I'm just getting used to now, and if you want any of that information, let me know. Please like, subscribe, give us a comment so we know somebody's watching. Even if you think we suck, let us know and what we can do better.
Yeah, give us feedback. We're
Yeah.
on
'Cause-
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on YouTube, obviously. We're
mhm.
gonna create a TikTok at some point and we'll have little clips here and
That's
there.
next on my list. Yeah,
Yes, it's next on our
I
list.
have all those for my business and they keep me busy, but go to Instagram. That's probably the most active. The
Yeah.
shorts here, you can see that short. I'll put that in the thing. And so the key takeaways are to get some support and play at a lower level and manage your attitude if you need to. And you can go back and listen to that stuff. And I'll put, if anybody wants the handout on mitigating that we made, we are happy to get those to you. And then there was, oh yeah. So for next week, like I said, Christina Black, the Raise It Up program, which is about making casinos safe for everybody, including women. And I know when I see that the ARIA has adopted it and the Encore in Boston and the Talking Stick I heard is next in Arizona, I'm going to feel a lot more safe going, especially when I'm traveling or out of town, a casino I haven't been to, because I know there's going to be other ladies there who are
Right.
members of WPA, maybe Plon, maybe Pocket Queens, and that somebody has my back
Right.
there.
It's
So,
wonderful.
yeah,
And I'm
and
really looking forward to having our first interview next week.
yeah, me too. That's a big one. So, we are finding our way here on YouTube. If you guys have suggestions, please let us know. We're happy. We're going to work on an intro and an outro and other stuff that you need on YouTube. I'm watching the videos like how to do a podcast.
Let me
So,
tell you, Julie is one hardworking lady on this.
aw,
I'm
thank
very
you.
grateful to have her.
Thank you. You too. We have a good partnership. So I'm excited to see where this goes, and I can't wait till we go live. Hopefully
I know.
soon we'll figure it
That's
out.
good.
All right.
Yeah, hopefully when we go live, we have people that ask questions. That's what I want if we go live.
Yes.
That would be fantastic.
let us know if we go live. Are you gonna support us, you guys? Hopefully you will. And let us know how you found out about us. And I think that's it. Thank you for listening. If you
Yes.
got this far, we appreciate you. Go kill
Thank
it at your
you.
tournaments.
See you at the
Bye.
next tournament.
I have to stop the recording.